So, okay, yeah. So this is a quick link for a lot of you. You could share how you'd like to engage with each other, what kind of outcomes you will be looking for from this session, and also different formats. Future sessions you could also lead, partner with us. It could be roundtables, it could be a larger mixer event, it could be a hackathon, a product challenge, it could be focus group sessions, right? And we encourage a lot of you to engage and share whom you'd like to connect and what you have in mind. We have over we're going to reach 100 pitch decks, right, Madan?
Yeah.
A lot of startups, we showcase them on our Mixer platform. And these are some of the September next month is around skilling. So those of you who are interested in some of these engagements, some of you may want to engage with founders, some of you with campuses, women leaders, the rural space. We also have some partner events, some marquee partner events. Your Story's flagship event, TechSparks, is happening. Then we have something called the UX India conference. And we try and also have some of you join us for that. So we have a sort of a trend that moves around engagement, around short form meetups and conferences, so that you get as much outcomes as possible. Again, thank you all for joining us. And I'd like to hand it over to Madan to take things forward.
Yeah. Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining. We've got a packed afternoon into us. We're going to do a pressure cooker engagement into the social entrepreneurship ecosystem in India. So we have 5 startups to begin with, but I want to give a special shout out. Come, Osama, keynote speaker. Sit at the table, sir. Yeah. So we have 5 startups and about 5 experts who are going to talk about the broader impacts of entrepreneurship in India and tech for good, AI for good, and so on. Special shout out to the students who've come from Washington, DC, Washington State to join this event. So thanks so much for immersing and spending your time and your passion with us here today. You're most welcome to ask questions, say, towards the end of the sessions once we finish. Q&A. But 5 outstanding startups here today. Each one is a superstar by itself, but some of you might have heard of Karya, which was featured on the cover of Time magazine recently, and they won which award recently? I forgot the name. Which means
Echoing Green.
Echoing Green. Yeah. So a big round of applause to.
Thank you.
Other startups also rise to the occasion and blaze a new trail for this whole space. Our first speaker is going to be Ronak. Ronak is the co-founder of Wondersight Healthcare, and he's going to talk with us for about 5 minutes. So, you can speak from there or from here. Anywhere. Yeah, you play the keyboard. Yeah, I'll not be cool. You know, they will find.
Hello, everyone. My name is Ronak Pankar. I'm part of Wondersight Healthcare. So we are in the mental health space, building digital health solutions to kind of take care of mental behavioral health solutions. I want to quickly start this discussion with an incident that happened a couple of weeks ago in one of the cities in Rajasthan. So India, unfortunately, is kind of known as the suicide capital of the world. We see lots of students committing suicide in Kota, one of the centers where I would say education training. So the government came up with a very interesting initiative. So imagine this: you are presented with this problem of mental health, suicide, rising rates of suicide in India. Interesting initiative from the government. They said, okay, how do we solve it? Spring fans. Imagine spring fans as a solution being advocated to kind of help with the rising amount of suicides in India. This is the state of impetus or focus the governments are giving on mental health, not only in India, but globally. They are not trying to address it at its roots. The second story, let me share about one of the hospitals we are closely working with, St. John's Hospital. It's one of the busiest hospitals in Bangalore. It kind of gets one of the highest footfalls per day, around 2,000 patients walk by there every day. So we had a meeting with one of the doctors there. It's 9:30 a.m. in the morning. We walk in. We just go to the waiting area and we see 20 people sitting at 9:30 in the morning for a 1-hour session with the psychologist. Usually their OPD gets around 100 patients for counseling services per day. Imagine 2 therapists taking 100 counseling sessions for patient every day. That's not the right kind of care we are kind of looking at. So we spoke to the doctors there and they said that we have to cut down the session from a usual 1 hour session to a 20-minute session. So this is the kind of quality mental health care services we are getting in India. On one hand, we are seeing increased cases of mental health. We see people among ourselves, close to friends, family, talking openly about it. But on the other hand, when we talk about quality mental health care services, well, we are struggling in general. Quickly want to take you through the current state of mental health, not only in India, but globally. It's a very sad state of affairs. If we look at the graphs, let's say the number of increase in mental health queries versus number of trained mental health care professionals, well, these graphs don't talk to each other. Sadly, there's the quality trained mental health care professionals, the demand supply gap is going to be there at least till 2050. And we need to be bringing solutions that not only solve for this at the core, but also bringing more clinician efficiency. 80% is the dropout rates for people seeking mental health care in India. It's a very bad number as compared to around 36% globally. And when we talk about evidence-based solutions, well, not many are there. So this kind of brings down the confidence of the medical community to adopt such solutions. So yeah, quickly talking about the space in general, we have rapidly growing occurrences, we have limited access to treatment, and of course, limited infrastructure and kind of high cost to kind of serve mental health patients. Just let me take you through a typical patient journey. How does someone, let's just, who starts getting these treatments go through different stages of their mental health care journey? Well, of course, it starts with awareness of symptoms. We see health seeking, diagnosis, initiation of treatment, adherence to care, and of course, post-treatment rehab. Now, we spoke to close to 100 doctors in India across different demographics, different metro tier 1 cities. And the majority problem with hospitals and clinics right now in the adherence to care, hospitals and clinics are struggling to make people stick to therapy. Now, you cannot solve this problem without solving this major gap, and this is where we are addressing it. So just talking about the market size in general, it's a global problem, and of course, we are looking at people who are already aware of this problem and who are taking therapy either offline, online, in person. Quickly talking about why now? Well, of course, digital health therapeutics is a growing field. We see different regulatory authorities worldwide kind of taking a serious look at it and approving digital health solutions. Of course, this is how we will kind of bring in more technology to kind of augment how clinician works with patients. And yeah, this is us. With Wondersight, we plan to bring in more digital therapeutics to kind of enable not only better patient outcomes, but also in a way build better tools in the arsenal for the therapists to work with their patients. I'll quickly introduce two of our products. The first one is Relief XR. It's kind of a digital therapeutic for stress and relaxation. This is a product we built closely with some of the leading hospitals and psychologists in India and kind of are looking at it as a class A medical device. This is something that is very general purpose in use. It could be used with patients. You can even use it with employees for burnouts, even students who kind of suffer with stress and anxiety. The second product of ours is Revive XR. It's a DTX for substance use disorder. Now, this is a product which is currently deployed live in some of the leading hospitals in Bangalore. We are seeing this solution to kind of address the current problem of relapse in ICU patients. So far, great adoption in terms of hospitals and clinics in India, and we plan to build more such digital therapeutic solutions for different mental health conditions. I'll just quickly talk about my application. I come more from a product and engineering background. My co-founder Nishtha is a psychologist herself, having close to 10 years of experience in therapy. And of course, we are being advised by some of the leading experts in the field. We are a team of around 8 people now. And yeah, talking about our business model and GTM, where we are right now is how do we digitize existing infrastructure? How do we make sure that the current hospitals and clinics are equipped with latest state-of-the-art technology when it comes to digital health? So this is what we are kind of executing right now. Our immediate next plan of action is to kind of have a very cult-fit type of a model for mental health, where we can kind of own the entire experience from front to end and kind of bring in more standardization of therapy. So yeah, happy to kind of talk about it at the end of the session. But yeah, I'll just quickly jump to who we are kind of working with. So yeah, these are some of our clients, some of the leading names in terms of hospitals in Bangalore and India. And we are happy to be supported by Meta, IIT Mandi, and some other ecosystem partners. Yeah, that's it. So I just wanted to take this opportunity to kind of emphasize that mental health care is real. It's among us. We see many people close to us struggling with it. At the end of this discussion, I think when we go back to our homes, I want people to kind of openly talk about it. Let's make mental health discussions normal in India, and let's drive more people toward professional care. Thank you.
Thanks. Very important also, unfortunately, in India, mental health is still seen as a stigmatic kind of
Yes.
thing. So people don't talk about it. I remember when my father had issues, I spoke to some friends and they said, psychiatrist, what is it that need to say shrink and all that stuff? I mean, it was very painful to say that it is a problem. We need to have some mental health support and stuff. Maybe you can have a seat over there. Someone's storing a chair. You're not storing, but they can. We'll pass your phone on to you. Now, let me invite our next speaker to come up. Anurag Shukla is the head of platform at Karya. Karya, as I mentioned earlier, was featured on the cover of Time magazine, has won a whole bunch of awards. AI for Good is a very good way to describe what they're doing. They're also an ex-Microsoft company, the people from the organization. And you must connect with Akhtar, who's also ex-Microsoft. Go on. Yeah.
Yeah, so now I'll just start by saying I wrote my first computer program back in 2012 when I was in 7th grade. Hated it. I don't know why people do it. I mean, at that time, I obviously had very bad scores. And then my teacher said, hey, you know what? Computer is being used everywhere, from electronics, calculators, smartphones to satellites. You should give it another shot. And that time I realized, the power in tech. I mean, I did realize how this can be used to help people in general in the world. But unfortunately, I found out this is the rarity. I mean, there is no tech solution out there which is working on this problem. And basically, I entered into the tech domain to help people, especially in India, especially the underprivileged people, to uplift the people and the resources. So, yeah, I should have showed the slide, but this is the first stuff that I wrote. Exactly this, but anyways. So there are right now currently 230 million poor people in India. And this number is greater than any country in the world. And for most of them, there is no clear pathway out of poverty. And here's an astonishing fact. It takes an average low-income earner in India over 7 generations to just have $1,500 savings in India. Just imagine. I mean, 1.2 lakhs, the worth of our laptop. It takes 200 plus years of labor for an average low-income earner in India to get that. And this is just ridiculous. And that's where we come in. So Karya is a Sanskrit word which means people, dignified work. So at Karya, what we do the same. We give dignified digital work to rural Indians. And I'll explain this model with the help of an example. But big tech companies like Microsoft, OpenAI, Meta, Google, they need data to train their models, right? They need data for various activities, and they collect it from people through rural crowdsourcing. But this work is left behind, and our rural community doesn't get this work. Karya is trying to bridge that gap. In a concrete example, let's say, this is a real example, by the way. Microsoft came to us to collect, they were building Marathi language model. And they came to us for building a Marathi language model, and they wanted to have 1,000 hours of Marathi data, speech data. They come to us, Karya, as a platform. We divide this task into a bunch of micro tasks, which is just say 1 or 2 hours of speech data collection to each of the workers. For this simple task for just recording a sentence in their native language, we give them 20x the minimum wage in India. And this is another example. Reshma is from a community, one of the first Karya workers. Her community doesn't have smartphone, doesn't have internet. She never used a smartphone. When she first used it, she was like, for those who use Hindi, it's like, iske andar Surya Bhagwan hai kya? Like in English, it's like, is there a sun inside the phone? Because she has seen a backlit smartphone for the first time. And even after that, within a few minutes, she was able to record sentences in her native language. I mean, within a few minutes of training, it was remarkable. Today, the situation is a lot better. I mean, most of the rural communities in India have a smartphone and internet. But the data that we create are fully workaround. It's peer reviewed. The platform is peer reviewed, researched for 5 years. It's open source. And it's mobile first and requires no internet. So it is deployable in communities who do not have internet connection, who do not have these rich resources. And at Karya, we have around now 30,000 workers spread around 22 states and have completed 30 million paid tasks. And this scale is achievable through the investors like you, Microsoft, Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, Fast Forward, etc. And I mean, this is another example of building remote work to rural India. They are able to do complicated data tasks with surprising quality. I mean, we were surprised by the quality of the data that they generate for the amount of money. And most of the Indians, as I said, have mobile. They have bank account. They have everything. Yet most of them are in the poverty line. And Karya is trying to just bridge that gap from the 200 plus years that I explained in the slide to just 1 year. Today, Karya, we aim that a Karya worker is able to earn 15,100 in savings in less than 1 year. That would have taken 7+ generations. And this is another example where a Karya worker is saying how they do labor-intensive hard work, but with Karya, they can just earn with a smartphone. I mean, this is yet another example where we are bringing remote work to rural India. And yeah, this, our workers are our partners, and with their hard work, their dedication, the quality of data that they produced, we were in the last edition of cover page of Times Magazine. And we are thinking for $3.5 million for our tech and operation to, just uplift 100 million rural Indians by 2030. Come join us. Thank you. This is a wonderful day. Thank you guys for listening.
Let me now invite Srishti Jain to come up. Srishti Jain is the co-founder of CoLearn. I wish we had this startup when many of us were growing up, when we had only 2 career choices: become an engineer or become a doctor. That is it. Now there's a whole bunch of other options available for young Indians, and she's going to talk about one of them. Srishti, over to you.
Thank you. Hi, everybody. I'm Srishti. I'm the founder and CEO of CoLearn Education. So CoLearn is, before I go into this, what CoLearn does, I wanted to share 3 stories with you. Now, meet Siddharth Pawar. Siddharth used to be a security guard, and today he is a very successful cricket umpire. Not just that, he has also topped Cricket South Africa exam, level 1 umpiring exam at the global level. Meet Anusha Ramchandran. Anusha has worked in IT for 14 years. And today she's the head of analytics at Sports for All, which is India's largest grassroots sports development company. They actually are the official sponsor for Khelo India Games. Now meet Sujoy Shetty. Without having any sports background, he's actually cracked one of the toughest interviews of Rajasthan Royal, that too at a whopping 22 lakhs package, and he's a fresher in sports. So what's common amongst all of them? They're all pursuing their passion. They're all leading the dream life, and they're all proud CoLearn alumni, and we are very proud of them. Now, what is the problem then? The problem is 93% of Indian students are only aware of 7 career choices. And because of that, they opt for careers like doctor, engineer, and accountant. And very soon in their life, they realize this is not their first love. And then lack of career motivation happens, and sometimes depression as well. How are we solving that problem? So here comes CoLearn Education, where we help people convert their passion into full-time profession. We are basically an edtech platform where we have live online offbeat courses run by celebrities, and we focus a lot on outcome-based learning. Now, sports is our largest category. What exactly we do? We make people cricket umpires, sports analysts, sports commentators, sports social media managers, journalists, and sports scientists. And we just don't give you GAN, we also help you intensively with placements. And today, very proud to say that our students are working with 100+ sports companies, including Rajasthan Royal, Delhi Capital, ESPN, KKR, Times Now, TV9, TV42, Baichung Bhutia School of Football, the Padgon Center of Excellence, you name it, we have students everywhere. Now, what is our intervention approach? We have non-traditional courses which are not available in India. We have live learning from celebrity trainers. We have on our platform Sunrisers Hyderabad analyst teaching. Virat Kohli, sports psychologist, is our mentor. Then we have ICC umpires. We have people from Star Sports, so on and so forth. They teach on the platform. We are the only platform in India where live teaching on Zoom or on Google Meet happens. And then we have mentorship where the magic happens. And we run a couple of the biggest communities of sports analysts, sports commentators, and active umpires in India. Now, this is where our placements are going to happen. We proudly say that level 3 cricket umpiring of Cricket South Africa happened, like results came yesterday, and we had 4 selections, and out of which first ranker globally was our student again.
Wow.
So this is our placement success rate. When we started, we were not focusing on placement. We figured out very soon that India is outcome-based learning market. If binge learning doesn't work in India, so if you want to build an institution which will outlive you, you have to have outcome-based learning. Right now, we are at 76.3%, which is pretty good. The best college of sports management in India have 10 to 15% placements. So this is our IPL performance. Can I remove this? Can you hide this?
Okay.
So in the last IPL, we had students working with KKRs, Rajasthan Royals, Harsha Bogle directly. We had students working with Lakshmi Narayan, who is a CSK analyst. We had students working with Sunrisers Hyderabad, Gaurav Sundaraman directly through their companies, and also Irfan Pathans and likes of that. So this is what we have been able to do, and these are all common people like you and us. We provided them. We were the guiding force. Now these are the people. I'll just move on fast. Our global footprint, we have so far 20 students coming from 21 countries, and we don't do any advertisement outside of India. These were all word of mouth. And then business, we do some workshops which are cost basis to just create the buzz, because we are a category creator. Anybody paying 50,000, he wants to see what we do exactly. Our courses range from 13,000 to 40,000. Our best selling course is actually 40,000 plus GST. And then we have sponsorships from HPCL, Pernod Ricard and all, where we support wheelchair. We are the education partner of Wheelchair Cricket India. We are also the education partner of India Deaf Cricket Association. And we also do a lot of female umpiring cohorts where we want a couple of our females to do WPL as an umpire. And what is our go-to-market strategy? Multilingual programs. We want to get into other courses as well. And then we want to, so for everybody else, we are actually vitamins who want to get into sports. But for sports academies, where 5,000, 10,000, 12,000 students are getting trained to become Virat Kohlis of the world, and they know it that only one will become, we are the painkillers. So that's where we are focused. And then we also want to do international expansions, because 42 laws of cricket are same. The laws of football are same across the globe, only the playing conditions change. So that's us. Our biggest competitor is actually Rajasthan Royal, who actually hires from us. But Rajasthan Royal actually is into fan engagement courses. They don't have any mentorship. They don't have any placements. They don't have anything else. They just do the courses just before IPL, and then they just stop it after IPL. So for them, this is a fan engagement. Others are like this. They are into online trainings, but they don't focus on sports. What's the industry? Right now, 4.3 million Indians are employed in sports sector. India is going to grow at 5 to 7% year on year over the next 10 years. Sports in India is going to grow at 15%, and that's the opportunity. Now, sports industry globally employ 0.5% in India and in China and US. In India, it was 0.1%. So we have that much of growth, and 0.8%, in which is 3% of employment across other bigger geographies. Now, we estimate that India needs 1.6 crore Indians in the next 10 years. And that's because India wants 100 medals. Last Olympic, we had only 7 medals. So to reach there, we need that. Qatar has just gotten Asia Cup 2030. Riyadh has gotten Asia Cup 2034. India is bidding for 2036 Olympics. So that's where our majority of the growth rate will come. And also, apart from that, India India's already eyeing for 2036 Olympics. So the capacity building, we want to be the best person or best company to do that. And 28.3 crore Indians want to get into sports. How many of them gets it? 1.64. and that translates to 8,000 crore opportunity to train them. This is our traction. We are profitable now, and this is our financials. I'll not go deeper into it. We want to touch 500,000 users in the next 4 years to train them. That's me. I'm a CFA charter holder, CIA charter holder, have done investment banking in India and Dubai. But from last 3.5 years, I'm in Bangalore, trying to change Indian education system. And that's my team. These are the people. Outside circle is the people who are the stalwarts of industry who actually supported us from day one. We have a repository of 80 plus trainers, but these are the trainers who are like my mentors now, my best friends. And we are a bunch of people who come from tier 2 cities of India who are very passionate to change other people's passion. That's our board of advisor. Sunil Handa sir, Sanjana Kiran, she's also my mentor, and then Irfan Seth sir and everybody else. A big name in sports industry or entrepreneurship industry. These are our partners. Officiating Collective is actually Simon Toffel's company, indirect company, and they actually certify our programs, and they are the signatory for all our umpiring courses. Then we are education partner for this. These are other people who support us. We're also talking to Hockey India and other cricket associations. Also our achievement, we are also part of Google for Startups, top 20. Incubated and funded by IIM Bangalore, incubated and funded by IIIT Hyderabad. And then we also received some seed funding from Indian government, and that's us. Very recently, we represented education, Karnataka in the EdTech segment in G20. So that's what our claim to fame. Right now, I'm looking for 1.5 CR, and that's it from our end. And this is the vision. We want to be the largest player in sports, education and sports careers, and then I'll probably become the largest player in non-tradition segment. That's us. We are highly rated, 4.9 out of 5 on Google and 4.8 out of 5 on Trustpilot. Students love us. You should see our reviews, and that's how we have grown what we are today. So that's it from my end. Thanks.
Number 4 is Vibhor Saran, co-founder of Furi.ai. Talking about some very interesting deep tech applications for connecting different kinds of people through translated content. Sorry.
You can just pass it off.
Let's look at afterwards. Yeah, please. Yeah.
Hello, everyone. So I'm Vibhor. I'm the co-founder and CEO of Furi. So we all must have heard this term that all the information in the world is now present at a click of a button. But one thing which we miss around is language plays a huge barrier around that. If we talk about the world, over 57% of the internet content is in English. And if we talk about the next most popular language, which are Russian and Spanish, that is just nearly 5%. Talking about Indian languages, Hindi being the most popular one, that is just 0.1% of the internet content. This creates a huge mismatch between the desired and the content which is getting created. India has 750 million internet users, out of which 500 million actually prefers content in local languages. And what we believe that localization will be the key to bridge this gap between the desired and the content which is getting created. So what we did, we started talking to a lot of businesses to understand, okay, why they are not localizing or translating their content. What we understood, they have actually tried machine translation, dubbing, or they have tried machine translation, dubbing, and even setting up the teams. The problem with that thing was the machine translation were inaccurate or very much literal in nature, while doing anything text to speech was very much robotic. Setting up a dubbing team or setting their own team was very much expensive and very operationally intensive. Introducing Furi, we are a Gen AI enabled system which dub your content into multiple languages while maintaining the emotion, tone, and context all in multiple languages. And it is at 1/10 of the time and 1/5 of the cost. So we recently launched on August 2, and we saw some good sign-ups coming in as well. I'll get to that later. Talking about the language market around the world, it's a 62 billion market, which includes anything from translation to dubbing, anything. Just talking about India, if you talk about India, it's a $258 million market, which includes e-learning, L&D, advertisements, marketing, media, entertainment, sports, all these educations, right? And if you just go in and around India, if you take out Southeast Asia, Middle Eastern countries, we have a market of around 7 billion. So as I was saying, we recently launched on 2nd of August. It's a B2B SaaS model. We have signed some good MOUs with L&D companies and some e-learning companies. We have 140 plus signups. We have already done 600 plus minutes. The application is in e-learning, infotainment, gaming, audiobooks, entertainment, sports, and projected ARR by 2024 is $240,000. So what we are bringing is a human touch to the generative AI voices. We have already filed for our patent on expressive speech synthesis, and we are building on top of my and my co-founders' expertise around digital signal processing and natural language understanding. The framework which we are building is actually extendable to all the languages. So suppose if we want to open up French with emotive voices, we can just collect some data and we can actually launch French also. This is what our roadmap is looking like. Right now, we are raising $1 million to attain a $1.3 million ARR. Right now, we are in a public beta phase. In next year, we will be having expressive speech synthesis with 3 motions in Hindi, English, Tamil, Telugu, French, and Spanish. Then we want to go towards automated localization, and we would replicate the same thing in 10 languages here. And then we'll also open up the lip syncing process within the video. This is me and my team. Vishal, my co-founder, he has a master's in computer science, specializing in artificial intelligence from TU Munich. He was a founding member of a language learning startup called Elia. He was also the part of the team that launched Hindi for Alexa. And then we started this. I'm Vibhor. I was the VP for data science for a medtech company in Bangalore. I published 9 papers, had 3 patents on me. During my tenure with Rosie, we moved from a 6-member team. I was the 6th employee. We moved from a 6-member team to 250 plus member. We have a great set of advisors with us, which are subject to signal processing and computer vision. We are backed by some very good deep tech investors, Entrepreneur First, SID, which is ISC Bangalore, and then IT Mandi. So yeah, this is us, and we want to democratize engaging content creation.
Fantastic. Sachin, yeah, but Sachin Agri is the founder of Goods, an agri-tech startup. He also pitched at the NASSCOM Deep Tech, one of the top people to pitch at the NASSCOM Deep Tech Club meetup. So, great honor for us to have you here, Sachin. Sachin, over to you.
Perfect. Thanks everybody for coming in, and thanks for the introduction. And thanks for coming again. My name is Sachin, and we have a company called Root Foods Private Limited. And we have built a SaaS platform for quality assessment and management of agriculture sports cars, primarily working with maize. How do I change the slide? Okay. So yeah, as a company started in 2018, we collaborated with University of Agricultural Sciences, Bangalore. So there was a project called Maize Business School. So we were part of the project to provide better market access to the farmers, basically providing better price to them. So there we understood both farmers and buyers who are buying from the farmers have quite challenge of understanding the quality subjectively or objectively. They're using their subjective understanding from previous years to come to the quality. So what we did, we built a platform, mobile application where farmers can come in and share their information about quality, about their produce. And then we crunch that based on AI and deep tech algorithms and generate a quality assessment certificate. With that, we provide that to farmers and buyers. Farmers put their selling offer, buyers their buying offer. If it matches, then we schedule the logistics from farms to the warehouse of the buyers. So the 3 main stakeholders, where there are 4 services that we provide: quality assessment certificates, matchmaking, logistics, which is monitored dynamically, and spot exchange, which is payment for farmers. And then after 7 days, the payment will be coming to the person who's paying or the entity which is paying. Now NBFCs are doing that. So these are 4 services that we're doing. So yeah, further, maize is the focus area. The market itself and the commercial aspects of the quality is very matured in India and outside India. So we thought not to work with farmers who are subsistence in nature, which in simple terms are a little bit poorer, who have 3 acres of land. We wanted to focus on those kind of farmers around the world. So we focused on maize, and it has a little bit of higher threshold for more water and lesser water as well, which is basically to survive. So we chose maize strategically based on the suggestion of these experts who are working in university.
Please go back to that farmer deaths per day. Just go back to this one. Why is that?
Oh, yeah, so the farmers who work with us already increased their income by 12%, 12 to 15% in the range. Maize farmers working in central part of Karnataka, we are running some pilots in Telangana as well. So that's something which kind of encouraging to work with farmers also, which was one of our intent to do work with. And we covered around 12,000 farmers in Karnataka and are doing pilots in Telangana and some pilots in Africa and Mexico. So through ECRISAT, you guys might have heard about ECRISAT and CIMET, the primary research organizations in maize and millet area. Yeah. Oh, this second one. Okay, so the farmers is free of cost, but there's no willingness to pay. They have around 3 acres on average, which makes 15,000 per acre. So 15 into it's close to 45 to 50,000. There's no willingness to pay. It's the annual income of a farmer per family. So, and also, as we speak, every day there are 28 deaths of farmers in India. So just statistics from Statistic Department of India. And yeah, so we hybridized the model, business model, which makes payable customer not the farmer, but the processing units who buy from the farmer. So that's where the processing units, especially the poultry industry and maize starch industry comes in. So those are the paying customers who are working with Cargill and Suguna chickens, for example. And yeah, there's some collaborations. Because we collaborated with and social aspect of the government, which is extensively funded. Per state, they spend around 5,000 crores in India, and just in terms of numbers, close to $500 million per each state in India, $500 million US dollars, because some people might understand that. So I just shifted to USD. But with that collaboration, it was more easier, basically, because there are all the channels was built up by the government, so it's more easier to reach the farmers. And also the collaborations like NABARD and US, which will come soon in the next slide. So Indian Council of Agriculture Research also funded us. IAC bought 1% 2 years back. NASCOM, yeah, we're part of the club, and Microsoft and Accenture also put $1,500, $150,000 of technically it's kind of not monetary funding, but
Credit.
All the services that we provide is free. Like it was 50,000 Indian rupees every month we used to pay, now it's zero. Okay, until we reach that amount, it's zero for us. All the AI algorithms, generative AI, and deep learning algorithms are free for us. So yeah, Agri team, which is working on bioinformatics, genomics, and AI. So working in tandem from last 3 years, that's one of the moves that we have built. That's what we feel, because it's quite challenging to collect that data, implement it, and generate some revenue out of it. Yeah, and 22% overall loss is reduced to 5%. So that's the second move that we have built. Most of the competition are the peers who are working in quality assessment. They are basically working at market level, because market level is more easier to get the revenue out of. So that's something that we found it would be more useful to work at farm level. So it was a longer cycle to collect bioinformatics, genomics data. That's exactly why we focused on only one crop. All the companies are working on panel of many crops, and they're working at market level. So that's the difference that we have seen. And this is me. I also saw somebody from TU Munich. I'm also from TU Munich in Germany. And my bachelor's was in Bangalore, in RBC Bangalore. And I met there, Dr. Rahim is from Nepal, actually. My friend was doing my PhD from in climate science. And he's a co-founder as well. And Dr. Gracie is an official mentor from US Bangalore, which is agriculture industry in Bangalore. And Dr. Vasudeva Rao, he's one of the, he's from IC. He's supporting us, official mentor from there. But he's one of the core members of a company called MetaHelix, which was bought by Tata's, where it is now in seed industry. So he helped us to make this solution usable for the users. Most region. So we are raising $450,000 US, out of which we have raised around 180,000. So most of the money we are using to bring people on board who are doing part-time. So being a tech man, and mostly the operational team are working part-time whenever there is a season. There's a seasonality aspect in agriculture as well. So yeah, these are some agencies. Elevate from same NASCOM was part of it. And last year, ICAR, Indian Council of Agriculture Research from Delhi, they invested 20 lakhs. And this was 20 lakhs, which was also USD. And then NABARD, which is like a World Bank in India for agriculture and rural development. So they invested around $49,000 US, which roughly comes to 50 lakhs, 48 lakhs, 40 lakhs, sorry. And like I said, it's an research institute. They have also provided an option for 25 lakhs of debt, and this is working capital from Bank of India. So this is how we look at ourselves: farmers, buyers, logistics, three main stakeholders pivoting with quality as a primary parameter. And we're working in Karnataka. Telangana is the next state that we're already working, Kenya and Nigeria. is we are doing a pilot. Australia, we're working with a company called Fonterra. US, we haven't started any collaboration yet. So this is the tech, basically collect some images and weather kind of data and then crunch that data with ML and deep learning models and work on these quality parameters, size, fungus, color, data. These are basically parameters which are physical based. This is with physical, we can do it with image processing, and moisture is we learn from deep learning algorithms. And this is the example of size calculation, spatial analysis with temperature and temporal analysis for moisture calculation. This is correlated with all the selling and buying happens based on price. So this is APMCR price for arrival and price of different APMCRs, which is market in India, agriculture markets in India. We have some patents which are listed. We have already granted some patents recently as well. So yeah, thank you. That's about it.
Thanks. Yeah. And also it's somewhat like Sachin Tendulkar, no? Being into some extent. Too much coffee or something. Anyway, so thanks to all the startups for 5 fantastic pitches. Now we're going to go through a round of discussion with the panel, and then the audience can also jump in with their questions. So let's start off with Vishnu Raji. Vishnu Raji is the investment principal at Speciali Invest. So Vishnu, what are some of your reactions to the pitches? I mean, we won't do formal ranking rating of each startup. They're all very different, but what are some of your reactions? Are they onto the right track? How can they scale up? Vishnu?
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much for having me over here. Just give a one introduction as well. Special is a early stage. Early stage I mean pre-seed, seed stage investment fund. We invest in deep tech companies. So when we say deep tech, it means that companies which have their products which have deeply rooted on science and engineering technologies. So we don't hesitate on startups.
Yeah.
So we are one of the largest space is now the word ISRO is in use. We are one of the we are the largest space tech investor in the country. We have 5 investments in the space tech startups. We also invest across the climate tech theme, including mobility, green hydrogen, lithium-ion battery recycling, water and other resources. Recently have also made investments in synthetic biology, biotechnology as well. There are a few other technologies, technology areas which we generally classify as the industry tech. So we have investments in robotics, manufacturing automation, semiconductors, quantum cybersecurity, and so on. There's also an enterprise SaaS division, which looks primarily into software, but again into deep tech part of it. So AI, ML based generative AI is a huge focus over there as well. I'm an investment principal. I lead the first half, the deep tech, deep science vertical. Great pitches. All of them looks very promising from the way where I'm sitting, or very, very interesting startups. I liked most of those. Some of those are not my areas of, not expertise, but focus. So I would refrain from commenting on how good they were, or how the market is. Some of them I understood well, especially the last 2 were more up my alley. So both seems like amazing opportunities and large market sizes. Since startups are in the early stage, we tend to focus on the quality of the team, the size of the opportunity, and the quality of the technology. Seemingly, I have good conviction in the team and the technology part of it, or at least the way I saw it. The market is something I would want to dive deeper into those startups.
Fantastic. Very encouraging. Let's now turn to Neha Kaur Bangkok, Head of Strategy and Business Development at the Bangalore Science and Technology Cluster in Institute of Science, formerly with the National Academy of Sciences in the US.
National Science Foundation.
National Science Foundation, NSF, formerly from NSF in the US. So,
Thank you.
Neha, what are some of your reactions? What's your work in this space, and what
Yes,
is
let me
reaction?
tell you a little bit about my work in the space. I don't quite feel qualified to give you my reactions because you guys are already doing so much amazing work and you've thought through so much already. But I'll tell you from my side, what was interesting was what we do at the Bangalore Science and Technology Cluster is that we are catalysts and facilitators. And our mandate is we're seed funded from the Principal Scientific Advisor's Office to the Government of India.
So we tend to keep track of all of the national missions, and we have a good understanding of which ministries might have funding for certain projects. For example, if agri-tech is picking up, which are the organizations that might be involved in that. We do work with Cropin already, actually. So those parts of the conversation were very interesting to me, where I could see some connects with our existing projects. Because I'm a scientist, I'm particularly interested in the ones that do involve deep tech or even tech, to be perfectly honest. I would say from my side, if you if you're seeking out funding from any of the ministries, especially when you look at things like rural India and you look at agri-tech, there is actually a lot of money in those spaces, and a lot of times the barrier to that money is actually engaging with those parts, which is the part that we will do, because due to our affiliation with the PSA, the Principal Scientific Advisor, it is a bit easier. That barrier is a little bit lower for us to engage with ministries, or if we reach out to somebody in the state government, they are less likely to not respond to somebody who says, I'm empowered by the Principal Scientific Advisor's office. So if there's any opportunities like that you're thinking of, I would say, I would love to talk to you a bit later. In terms of the pitches, I mean, they were all fabulous, very, very diverse. I have to say, my mind went here and then there and then there, and that was a lot of fun. But yeah, I would love to speak with some of you and connect and build some of my own bridges, which is what I do at work. So yeah, thanks.
I'll connect all the startups to all the panelists. I'll connect all the startups.
Yeah, that would be great.
Yes, I'll do that. Let's now turn to Sai Kumar. Sai is there you are. There you are. Okay. Sai Kumar is a principal of investments at Unis Social Business. So you will sit and you stand and talk.
Thank you. So while everybody here probably is an equity investor, we come from the debt side. So probably they have a very good understanding of market and technology and all of that. For me, it's just cash in, cash out. You're profitable, great, we'll fund you. If you're not, you can go to the next one. So something like that.
Good special.
Always welcome.
So I think I missed one, I came a little late, and I did hear of Karya before because we had a session already in our CEO forum. One thing that I would like to kind of point out, two things. One is a lot of things were around tech, but because they are deeply engaging with people on the ground, whether it is language, whether it is farmers, I would love to see more the impact that you're actually creating on the farmers, or the reach that you have to farmers. Now, of course, with something like an agri, it could be that you're only dealing with, let's say, 500 farmers in one particular region, and you say that you're working across 20 states. But the point is, with those 500 farmers or whoever it is, how much impact are you having in their lives? That's one thing. Second, especially when it's connected to kind of creating impact on the ground, I would urge companies, all the companies here, to try and see if there are collaboration opportunities rather than competing opportunities. Because just when I heard, so let's say Karya could actually go out and build the building blocks for something that 4E is doing. So it's ultimately money flowing. So you are robbing the equity investor sitting here. That's great, but then it's money flowing onto the ground all the way down to the last person, the farmer or the person in the village. So probably if you could look at more collaboration rather than competition, that would be great.
Great. We also have with us Geeta Ramamurthy. Geeta is, among other things, wears many hats, chair of Thai Angels Karnataka, which is a network of the Indus Entrepreneurs, Angel Investors of Karnataka. Formerly the founder of Thai Boston, now with Thai Bangalore, shuttles between Bangalore and the US, and is the CEO of Giga Innovation Center, which grooms the next wave of entrepreneurs. Geeta, tell us more about what you're doing and your reaction.
Thank you for the wonderful introduction. Thank you. I came in when the first, I think when you were presenting, all presentations are very, very good, exciting and all that. But one thing I would like to tell everybody is your presentations, maybe because of the short time, you had to say so much and you were so fast. And I had to double take and, listen, especially Americans. They like people to go slower. And I usually, help curate the pitches and also help them, say the right things that means to the investors. What is the investor looking for? I mean, you're doing great things in your sector and adding a lot of value to the world. But what is the investor looking for? You should think along those lines. Okay, it has to be a win-win. Right? Everybody has to do it as a win-win. And if I invest X amount of money in this one person today, according to the standards, I'm exiting after 3 years. Am I going to get 6x, 10x? He's smiling there. That is the question in their mind. And especially when you're approaching the investors, approach from that person's, his or her interest, then spending so much time on your work. And I can help you guys, all of you, help you curate the presentations designed to impress the investors. Otherwise, they may lose you somewhere, in the middle. And although your ideas and everything is so good, but your goal has to be that. And if you are looking for investors, for example, we just launched the Thai Angels Karnataka program in March of this year. Already we have 5 entrepreneurs who are already talking to the investors, and we advise them, guide them, mentor them, and get them in front of the investors. So that's very, very important. You should put yourself on the other side of the table and see what they're looking for and how can I win that. It has to be a win-win proposition. I think that is really good, but you're already there doing great work. But, we can help you get to the next level of getting the win from the investors, getting that check in your bank, the money in your bank account, that we can help, and through mentors and all that. And I'm sure you all know the background of the Thai organization, right? Everybody knows that. So I don't have to say anything. But we are excited because, at least I'm excited because I sit on the governing board of Thai Bangalore because I spend a lot of time here. And I'm also a charter member worldwide. So we get, the network from the entire world. But then I can bring the entire Thai ecosystem onto your table.
Thanks, Geeta. Much greatly appreciated. Thanks. Let's now turn to Chitwan Chamadi, who is the program manager of the Impact Orbit at NSR Cell, one of the best incubator programs in India at IIM Bangalore. Chitwan, tell us about your incubator program and your reaction to some of these.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me, Manan. It was lovely listening to all of you. Some of the work that I was familiar with, Karya, but the rest of the 4, I think it's great to just see, the power. We talk about impact of technology, right? It's lovely to just have that reiterate time and again in these pitches. So at NSR Cell, we work with different kinds of organizations. We work with different startups. The program that I deal with is for tech-enabled social enterprises. It's supported by Capgemini, and we're looking to incubate about 120 startups in the coming 3 years. The focus that we have here are working on 5 different aspects, right? First is to work on the capacity building of the founder. Second is to connect them with our mentor, who will be the mentors who will be with them throughout the incubation period. And this is focused mentoring. The third aspect that we work on is providing them alternative just make them fund ready. We've been long-term friends with Sai, and he's given multiple sessions with our founders on just exploring alternative sources of finance, right? Because you mentioned that usually there's so much focus, so much stress on equity that the other aspects, the other instruments, people don't really talk about as much. The other aspect that we also work on is providing an ecosystem partner, especially to early stage entrepreneurs. And a lot of these entrepreneurs are who come to us for the first time, like who are first time entrepreneurs. So what I would also want to talk about, so as I rightly mentioned, people are doing good work. All of you are doing like some amazing work, but there is a big gap in how you are showing that work. Like, you know, the kind of language as you mentioned that the funder, the investor wants to see. We actually take this as a very core module and help impact organizations define and present their impact in a way that people will understand. So this is one of the focuses. Thank you so much for having, and look forward to connecting with all of you further. We'd love to talk to each one of you individually and explore any areas of collaboration.
Fantastic. Thanks. Let's turn now to Akhtar. Akhtar Badsha, you get a prize for being the most furthest traveled person. You've come beyond Kormangla to this place. So that's the Bangalore standard, that's quite far, Seattle. So Akhtar is the founder of Catalytic Innovators Group. I first met him at a meeting with the Deshpande Foundation in Baramati and at various other forums as well. So tell us a bit more about your work, Akhtar, and why you brought these amazing students here with you. And maybe afterwards, the students can tell us what they like about the pitches and so on. But yeah.
Yeah, you may not necessarily want to hear from me because you may not like what I say.
Go for it.
Since I came from so far away. But thank you. First of all, this is fantastic. I mean, what you're doing, Madan, is just terrific. Like this mixer, this conversation, the number of people that are here, the quality of resources available to you. I mean, it's fantastic to see, you know, Eunice's social business group here, to, you know, Thai Bangalore, to all of you that are from the government, from the investment side, people looking at. So there is this really diverse group of people that are actually here that you can mobilize and utilize. I'm here because I actually have a bunch of students and my co-faculty member, Professor Lisa Billafield, and I are traveling from the University of Washington in Seattle with 8 of our students, where we are teaching a class on social enterprise and social entrepreneurship and population health. And we are doing a 20-day stay in India, spending the first 10 days in Bangalore, working with the Ashoka Foundation and the Ashoka Fellows, and learning from them and understanding from them, understanding the culture of the city, the diversity. And then we are flying out to Leh and Ladakh and working with social entrepreneurs there and getting a completely different sense of environment, culture, resources, so the students can actually get this understanding. Just a couple of things for my students to take. I mean, as much as you all have kind of nitpicked on the presentations and how you make a pitch and not make a pitch, you know, I mean, I come from the field where I really don't care what the investor thinks. Right, because at the end of the day, your job should be such that the investor is chasing you, not you chasing the investor. So if you've got it to the point where you all actually have exactly the kind of programs and products that you're doing, that the money should be chasing you and you shouldn't be chasing the money. So how do you actually think about that? So from a student perspective, these pitches were actually pretty interesting because this is a session on tech for good. And you very rightly pointed out that there is the people element that is missing. That how do you include that, right? I mean, I'm kind of looking at all of you and saying, why do you need the money? I'm really not sure. Why do you want capital from investors? Worst money to take.
He's right here.
I agree with him.
I'm a charter member of TIE. I'm a board of TIE Seattle. People know me. I teach this. I've invested, and most people actually understand that if you can get away from not taking early stage venture funding, you're much better off. If you actually generate your business where you're showing recurring revenue and partners. then money will come to you. Then you get a better approach, you get a better investment, you get much more control. And everything that you're doing, every single one of you has already shown that you are able to generate revenue.
Yes.
And I would suggest spend your time there. Go build that partnership, get that maybe it might take you 2 years to build that revenue base. But suddenly you will have a far better chance. And I'm sorry, Vishnu, to actually come to you and say, hey, I love what you're doing. I would really like to invest my money here because I can then help you scale to a different level faster than how you're going now. So those are the few things that I would like to leave behind. You guys are doing great work. And the topics that you've selected, whether it is from the agricultural side, you're from the education side and sports, and really changing the threshold of how we think about all the other fields of education, you looking at tribal and AI and bringing, machine learning, generative AI and voice and all of, so just some amazing work that is out there. So I would focus on that. So I would stop with that.
Fair enough. Yeah. Let's turn on to Osama. Osama, let's have your keynote address now. Then we do a big roundtable of discussion after that. So Osama is also a partner for us, Digital Empowerment Foundation, Senior Ashoka Fellow, been in the field celebrates 20 years of the founding of DF this year. So big round of applause.
So I was thinking to say what Akhtar already said, but
Asking me.
Basically.
no, but I also I want to qualify by saying that what he said is an example of that. So that what he said was, I've done the company, I've sold the company, I've raised the fund, and faced the brunt of it and all that. So, and after all thought, we started Digital Empowerment Foundation, and we pretty much do everything for the last 20 years which Kara is doing now. I'm just giving you an example. But taking the job to the rural and get it done. But since it's a company doing this, only that part is doing. We do is as an empowerment, so we do 100 other things. But actually, what I'm actually coming to say in note that these are brilliant ideas, and the job here is that obviously there are formats in which you try to make changes, right? There's a social enterprise format, there is a commercial format, there is a not-for-profit format, in between Section 8 company format, and so on and so forth. And all those examples are there, right? The kind of money she is looking for, it's not a big money that she's looking for, actually.
Yes.
And I wonder ke apna daman kyun kharab karna hai itne chote paise mang ke, So, it's something like why you want to, take a risk for such a small money of giving away so much. But what I'm actually trying to say is that we all are a student of Excel sheets, right? We have a framework to think. We want to solve the problem of poverty sitting in a boardroom, developing an AI and thinking AI will walk like a person and go into the rural India and solve the problem. It will not happen like that, right? Even Google or I read your story word by word in time, and what you are doing is you are actually training the software so that the software works better, but calling it a job that you are taking to the person, like Google Assistant. How Google Assistant will work best in 200 types of colloquial language of Hindi, right? It's only by giving them training of 200 kinds of colloquial language, by giving that language to go to the poor, to speak 200 times or 300 times, to give to the database, to the data, to the AI, to create an AI which will work for the same person reverse back. It's something like unless you switch on your mobile location, the real Google map will not work. Because you are creating yourself a data, then the data is working for you. right? And इसके बीच में पूरी process है, the whole process of human intervention, the software intervention, and so on and so forth. So tech for good word is not a small word. Let's not commercialize it by saying that tech for good and it's like charitable work few people are doing and all that. And what you are doing cannot be just solved by investment. What I see in this entire thing is that you need a person to each one of you to work how to avoid investors.
Exactly.
And how to work out. No, I mean, I'm not saying they are bad people or something, but somehow, even though with the social impact parenthesis, they turn out on Excel sheet only at the end of it. And basically, it's something like first you take the data to work for you, then you work for the data, and then you are the data.
Yeah, the worst invention of Microsoft. PowerPoint and Excel.
So
we destroyed our brain.
Again, I'm saying is that if you get the most empathetic investor, great. But what actually is like we need a out of the box thinking process to do what you want to do, to see how it can generate in itself a fund and a partnership which can help in each other, right? And we run a foundation. Our annual expenditure is $3 million. I do not go to even a single person to raise fund. I'm not kidding. We do not go. And we work like a social enterprise, not a charitable enterprise. Because it's very simple. You are giving money to do a project. Similarly, the same thing. I am doing, she is charging for money for doing a course is completing, and then, so it's work. No? At the end of it, everything is a work and assignment, right? Whether you do it charitably or not, social as a social worker, you have to translate. You take money, you translate into the work, you get a profit. In a commercial organization, you do profit and take home, maybe dividend. In our organization, we don't take, we create another project out of that profit. Or saving money. We ideate something else, or we serve more number of people, or we create more food or whatever, or more connectivity or more last mile connectivity or more bandwidth or whatever. So I would really like to work with each one of you and give time to sit with you to see how your $50,000 requirement can become $20,000 requirement and something like that. How your partnership can bring in such a value that they also bring in business. I want to work with you to facilitate our 2,000 location to facilitate your work. If you are getting a work, get it like you are getting a rural woman. We have 2,000 women working in rural India in 24 states in 2,000 locations with 10,000 more trained volunteers who know everything about a smartphone. How does it work? In rural villages. I'm just coming here after Jharkhand and Ranchi, 150 women having a lady 21-year-old with a kid sitting on the lap. I still have a video. Uska bacha aise mobile kar raha and she is doing this. No, I was using the pad which was giving me rash in my thighs. So the pad you had provided, it was not working properly because, and she is doing like this. Also, her child is also working with the smartphone. I mean, that kind of thing. Hundreds of them. So I would like to say that so that you don't get that money that you want to look for. So that you suddenly say, I don't have, 2,000 women, but you have 7,000 women or 20,000 women. I would like to facilitate that. They will also get work. You will also get a network, right? I would like to say that you can expand into rural India where the sports can be seen as one of the areas that they can play. Like the hockey players of Jharkhand who has gone to Germany and wherever to play hockey games or something like that and get trained. Because we cannot create job only out of these 4 or 5 things, or like you have said very, very clearly, or for that matter, any one of you. So I would like to just end by saying is that and also our job is also to perhaps teach our investors how to work with us. It's like a microfinance loan. We want to just give a loan and I don't know how to use the loan. maybe you can also bring in your money to convert your money. Like she was saying, are you giving 5x and 10x? I will commit suicide if I don't give you 10x. That's what the cafe coffee day did. You know, so yeah, I mean, yeah, this is unnatural also. No? Many times it's also unnatural. So if the 5x and 10x will happen with one, not with all the 5 presentations, 6 presentation. What will happen to the other 5 ideas, great ideas? But if one is not doing 10x, only doing 2x, then everybody else will also do 2x. And there is a better parity and there is a better way of doing. And many times we are also coming up, start up with an idea, a great idea out of the bedroom and saying, "Ke yaar, ab to mujhe kuch nahi karna, bas code likhna aur Mark Zuckerberg ban jana." You know, and then suddenly we'll convert and tomorrow I'll get the things and 3 years I will exit. These formulas are like tick, 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 tick. What about those 99 people who have not, whose story we are not even telling? You know, why are we becoming Baijus? You know, why we want to become Baijus? At the end of it, that is not even profitable. After acquiring, Baiju has acquired 4 companies, out of which 3 were my friends. They all made money, but Baiju ultimately jaake abhi controversy ban gaya hai, sitting on udhar and udhar and udhar. So, you know, let's try to do a little, and MXR can facilitate that. You know, extraordinary facility to all its presenters. Can we do a very strong mentorship, which can actually bring in that value and create a mentorship panel? So these people just don't listen and talk and go keynote and karke chalega nahi. They are available to do another session with these people individually, so that the presentation then is not 5 minutes, but 50 minutes, and then question and answer and all that. And they also do not bring, these are big names on the board, do not have time to give, you know, just because of their name, you might be getting some investment, you know, just because the name is there. So let's have some value like that. And that can become a strong value, and Tech4Good had actually become Tech for Excellence, you know. And grassroots, because the next future 10-year market is certainly not in urban India. That is for sure. Or in the most crowded area. It is in rural India. Tier 2, tier 3 and everything. You know, we are getting access. I mean, one of the biggest business is going to cull out the real information which can be trusted. Today, we don't have a trusted information on internet. We are all struggling with misinformation, fake news, malign information, narratives, and this and that. There is no business plan I have seen that can be provided. I would also like to work with you to see multilingualism, you know, how it can cross the barrier of technology, because there is nothing called a script now. Everything is oral now. The technology has become oral. Yep. You know, I don't need to learn, you know, I need to learn emojis rather than I need to learn this new script, you know, or something like that. So I am very excited with all this. I would be very delighted if you give me a chance to sit with you and learn from you and see how your valuable work on the technology can really touch the heart of the people and solve the people's problem.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Great, thanks. So I think some key takeaways coming out are the funding requirements, financing requirements of organizations depend on how they position themselves. Are they an NGO? Are they a non-profit kind of an organization? Are they a social enterprise? Are they a for-profit company, etc.? Secondly, the capital needs also will depend on, do they need capital to build a product to begin with or to scale afterwards, etc. And speed also. A lot of them come to VCs to scale much faster to go global much faster in the face of competition and so on. So I think all the points on all sides are valid. It all depends. It depends on the context. Maybe now we can have one hour of discussion on partnerships. That one theme which came out from everyone, which is founders need to have good partners. Yeah. So let's start with you the other way around. What are some ways in which these companies?
I mean, first of all, I think, you know, Osama just laid out the framework for partnerships. Right? While we are here, irrespective of whether you're chasing funding or not, build the partnerships and the networks from everybody that is here. Right? And go talk to each other. talk to each other because you all have synergies with what you're doing. I mean, if you are looking to scale and get better connections, the fact that you might be able to connect across and say, here are some things that we can do together, that might shift the narrative. Again, I think you mentioned very clearly in terms of what language that you can use to show partnerships is all about collective impact, right? So how do you create that commonality of collective impact? So I would start from there. That it is very important for you to think about it, that this is not just, I mean, I think Osama is making a very right point that if you're going to be in the markets which are secondary, tertiary environments where growth is going to happen in India and the rural market, it can't be just your single point of view. Your one little product that you can suddenly say it is going to give you, all these TAMs and SAMs and SOMs and all are useless.
Yes.
Right? Because they're all made up. They're just made up numbers to make all of us feel good. So move away from that. Instead, let's start and look at, what is the local impact you're going to be able to create if you actually came together collectively. Because how many times, when I was in the field, I ran Microsoft's corporate philanthropy, and I set up 78,000 technology learning centers around the world. Intel claimed that they set up 50,000 technology learning centers around the world. HP claimed God knows the same amount. We all claim that we reached 300 million people. If you start adding all of us up, we ran out of the population. For the poor, it's the same one person. We're all touching. The same woman who's going to talk on your phone, the same woman that's going to talk on your phone and your phone and your phone. How does that help? So how do we kind of move out from that and then say, are we coming together to do things where we can actually make sense and reach and stop using data to justify things? There is nothing about data that is sacred. We now live in the world of actually fake data, period. There's fake news, there's fake data, so how do we move beyond that? Because you can create any data you want. So how do we kind of look at it from a collective sense of how you as a group? I mean, I think the point, so Osama was making, I want to re-emphasize. How do you move from being a tech for good community to a tech for excellence? And to move from a tech for good, which is you've done something good, we really created excellence in our communities. Then you want to really get down to the point that you are actually able to see that every single person that you are touching, you're going to turn them into an individual of excellence.
Great.
And if you can do that, then partnership. I mean, look at our chess player. This is not a kid who is from a IT or wherever. He's number 2 in the world. That's the mind. That's all he's doing is using the mind. So let's remember that we've got 250, 300 million minds of that caliber that are untapped. And your job here should be that, and not ROI.
I half disagree with that. I think data is important. You need some focus on ROI, but that's not the be all end all. You must think beyond.
So what is the ROI then?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Is it the money or is it the societal impact? Right, so do you add the S to it, which becomes the SROI, which is what Eunice will argue, that it should be societal returns on investment.
Why should it be one or the other?
No. So if you take societal returns on investment, now you can actually say, what does that mean? What should that include, right? It could be financial, it could be societal, it could be educational, it could be, you can now create all of that and say, this is our impact. Now you can actually build a partnership and say, hey, I will play a role here. The other partner will play a role there. So now you've expanded your impact and how you're actually even telling your story. Right? So I'm not saying absolutely without financial returns, I mean, you're not all living on fresh air. Well, there isn't even that much of fresh air to live on. So I understand that. But I think if our focus just becomes that, then all of the other things kind of get undermined.
Great. So Vishnu, what are some metrics you look for, and how can partnerships help amplify and scale up these metrics?
Sure. So before getting to that, so I used to work in social impact, social sector. Used to work with a social sector consulting firm, worked with many of the foundations mentioned over here, PMGF, and PACAD and so on. And then my background is also in public policy. Went to US to study public policy for 2 years. Used to call the business school. I went to Harvard, so the other side, used to call the business school on the other side, the darker side. So you cross over to the other side to take the thing. But I decided to choose financial investing as my career choice. I get all those points, but one thing I strongly believe in, it's a philosophical side of things as well. And the measurable impact, you were talking about, the societal impact, etc. Sometimes it's, when we focus a lot on those impacts, these are not standardized impacts, and people try to and we have enough examples of manipulating that, fudging the data. When you start just measuring the impact, it just keeps coming. The only standardized impact in, what at least I personally have realized, and no disrespect to anybody tracking everything else, it's great, is financial impact. Because, the bookkeeping is much more standard, much more, standardized. The fiscal discipline that brings along with it can translate into.
But that's bullshit, right?
No, I don't think so.
We come back to you later.
That's what I mean. I with due respect, I'm not saying don't do the work. I mean, so I can't work in an organization without a mission alignment that I have. I work in climate. I run. When you're talking about partnerships, I mean, without any affiliation to special, I've been working in climate all my life. So for the last 13 years, I've worn my hats on academic research, public policy, social impact. I used to be part of a flow battery technology startup when I was in the US. Now, as a climate tech investor is what I've known in India. I have a group coming to the partnership. I manage a group of investors and founders. Founders first, sorry for saying the word investor first, but founders first, a group of 500 plus Indian folks who are working on the climate space in India. So, and we create network synergies, we build the ecosystem for these folks. I mean, at the end of the day, when you build successful organizations which are fiscally disciplined, which create returns, I also believe that they're creating jobs, they're creating impact. And do I want each of these organizations to go spend their resources on measuring the impact or create more impact with the money or limited capital they have? Do you want, because impact measurement, as a lot of people are saying, also takes resources. You go and measure impacts, and that also takes a lot of this thing. So in social enterprises, so for me personally, that's why I said it's a philosophical point. I want people to be mission aligned. I want people to work on highly impactful areas. I want people to create jobs. But do I want the entrepreneurs to go behind measuring what is, these many lives we have touched, so give me this much of capital from the foundation? Because the foundations and all the people who are funding the charitable organizations, the philanthropic foundations are heavily bureaucratic. they want 15 different matrices. I mean, I seek financial metrics. But then it's not like, if you go into a social impact organization or a foundation, they seek financial metrics, and on the top of that, 15 other matrices. I have been with organizations which take that metrics. I have used that metrics and data to create things. So at some point, you're basically creating systems which is forcing the entrepreneur to fudge data. That's personally where I come from. So I want people to work on climate, but I don't want people to spend their resources on measuring this is the amount of carbon dioxide emissions that I have avoided. I mean, if you have very easy to calculate matrices, which can be, just using multipliers, that's fine. But that's where I stand. Sorry. And from Special standpoint, we are not an impact organization. We are a financial institution, but at the same time, we invest in very deeply impactful companies, which are solving some of the most critical, crucial problems. As I was saying, these companies, one of them is a global company which is working on creating a green hydrogen electrolyzer. So green hydrogen is one of the most emitting sectors in the world. People use petrochemicals to produce and use hydrogen in industries. So the easiest way to create hydrogen is splitting water. H2O split into hydrogen and oxygen, but then we don't have that much of energy, but there is an Indian company along with many of the global competitors working towards that. 2 PhD returnees from Europe working on that. That's a company that I'm working on. There's a student from IT Room.
Grassroots?
No, it's not grassroots. Grassroots also, I know. This is New Trace.
Yeah.
So I'm the first investor, earliest institutional investor. There's another company called Metastable Materials. IIT Roorkee graduate. He has his bachelor's project. He converted it into, and this is a very novel technology, which currently the world relies on pyrometallurgy for battery recycling, which is based in Europe, uses heat. Hydrometallurgy, which uses like solubles, which is East Asia focuses on that. One is CapEx heavy, one is OpEx heavy. There's this Indian dude has created a new technology altogether, went ahead, like they were saying, took money from angels, did not go to the VCs first, went ahead and put a plant 5-ton capacity per day, a new technology, which is 1/10 of CapEx and OpEx, and a running plant. We invested in him so that he can scale it up. So there's a battery recycling company that I have invested in. There's a company which is working on creating water from air using renewable energy. We call it renewable water, and it's all these companies are in the outskirts of Bangalore. All of them are doing amazing work, but none of them are impact organizations per se. None of them go and measure this is the X unit of carbon dioxide emissions we avoided. They can all do that. They need funding, and you keep asking them to do that. But all of them have gone into profit generation. New Trace, the hydrogen company, they started partnerships with Indian Oil Corporation and BPCL, etc., government entities or public sector entities. Once they started doing that, the point they were making, the the investors will chase you down. Those partnerships, they demonstrated that the science works. They can commercially build a prototype. Everybody is chasing them down now. Like the Reliances and the Adanis are coming to form partnerships. We tell them don't sell that cheap. Stay longer, build a big company, and then maybe you can think about that at the end of the day. But they are building something for the world from India. Many examples from our portfolio I can cite.
Sure. Thanks. Chitwan, in your case, what are some of your tips in terms of partnerships, and what kinds of partnerships are you having? You mentioned your incubation program.
Yes.
You connect founders to the broader ecosystem. So who are some of these?
Sure. I just want to add to what Vishnu was saying earlier. So measuring impact, it can be very bureaucratic process. And I completely agree with that bit of information, right? But impact is not just so that the funder will come and give you funds. But a lot of organizations which are specially working, let's say at the bottom of the pyramid, on thinking of their approach and impact first. It's also important to measure the impact so that we can assess where we stand, right? if you keep doing something, investing resources in a particular thing without measuring, you won't know whether you made any progress. So from that point of view, in order to reiterate, complete that feedback loop, impact is still very important. There is no denying financial impact is something which is absolutely clear. It is some financial sustainability is something we stress upon a lot, even at the incubation program. An organization doesn't necessarily have to be a for-profit to generate revenue, right? Like Sama had mentioned, you generate profits and you invest it back into the organization. So this is the approach that we encourage even with our nonprofits, because like again, if you have a funder, you have to go by what the funder says. The vision, mission sort of dilutes after a certain point if you're not sustainable. With respect to partnerships, I would, so we've collaborated with industries, we've collaborated with companies like Capgemini, Alstom, Kotak, and Goldman Sachs, and they're supporting us with our programs, incubation programs. I'm very happy to share that in the last 1 year, in 22 to 23, we worked with around 1,000 startups in different capacities. These startups range from pre-pilot to like a later growth stage as well. So by the virtue of being a part of IIM Bangalore academia, we also get to get access to a lot of their resources. Some excellent lecturers, theorists who come and talk to the startups, not just about the practical world, but also reiterate with them on the business aspects, on different aspects. They reiterate with us on programmatic aspects as well. So this is something that has been very helpful. From a human level, I would like to say one thing about partnerships is when we are going to meet somebody, when we are going thinking, oh, I have to partner with this person, collaborate, I want to get this out of them, I want to get that out of them. I think at some level, we understand when we are meeting someone, whether they are coming with open arms or whether they are just coming because they want something. And like it's very, very visible, right? In most cases, you know.
Yeah.
Right. So I think it's also very important just to go with an open approach and to not just take, but also give. Because if you are doing a favor or if you're just like helping somebody out in a very little manner, they will remember that. And they'll be more inclined towards helping you in the future.
So think beyond transactions.
Think beyond transactions. Yeah. Absolutely.
Correct.
Yeah.
Okay, let's turn to Neha. What are some of your thoughts on partnerships and how does IIS start from partnerships? You're in the middle of academia, government, and industry.
We are.
Maybe civil society also, right? To some extent.
Yes. Yes. So all of our projects, we actually only engage in multi-stakeholder projects. So we very rare. So if somebody comes to me, let's say a company comes to me and says that we're looking for somebody who works on studying the lifetime of electrolyzer membranes. This actually happened recently, which requires Dr. Nucleus again for collaboration. If they find the startup that they want to partner with directly, the Bangalore Science and Tech Cluster, we call it the best cluster, it's not going to sit in the middle of that. We're actually going to step out of it and say, you shake hands with them and go ahead. We only work on multi-stakeholder projects. So we try to have in all of our projects, it's a bit of a consortium approach. We try to have a research partner. We try to have an implementation partner. We try to have a funding partner. Those three are very, very primary. So minimum of 3. And then in addition to that, sometimes we may have a policy partner. So for example, in the hydrogen space, there may be policies that need to be revisited. For example, in the storage of hydrogen, some of the challenges that exist there. And it's better to involve those stakeholders from the beginning, because then you can hope to at least make the changes that you need to make 3 years out from now. So in that sense, and oftentimes we'll involve, say, another think tank, somebody who's been working on, so if you work on climate, we may go to the Center for Environment and Water, CEW, right, in
I used
Delhi.
to work there.
Sorry?
I used to work
there. Okay. Okay, so if we find that that's the kind of expertise, so it's always a multi-stakeholder engagement for us. So actually, I was very, very curious to ask all of the founders and co-founders here, how do you look for partners? Like, what makes you look for a partner? Do you have, what are your criteria looking for a partner?
I think we're making our life easy.
Yeah.
Yes. That's good.
How much does that happen when you onboard a partner?
Sorry?
How often does that happen when you onboard a partner?
No, it actually means if you.
What's one example of a partner?
So like what Karya is doing. So we actually got a few homemakers to because we were cloning voices. So we got a few homemakers and got one studio book. Now everything, all the data collection managed in a very particular manner. Everything happened as per our detail because we had the set process that okay, you have step 1 do this, step 2 do this, step 3 do this, and we were able to get those kind of information from our partners. So that was great.
So this takes me a little bit back to what Chetan was saying, sorry.
So I had Officiating Collective, and Simon Toffel was taking a webinar, a free webinar. I just went and I said, sir, I run one of the biggest courts of umpires in India, and all of them love you. And I also love you. I just said that, I wrote it. And he said, who is this? Are you from some Cricket Association of India? I said, no, sir, I'm not. I run a very small startup called this. And immediately they said, why don't you share your number? Somebody else was moderating. And I just put my number immediately after this one. They just called me and they wanted to know what I do. So they said, how can I support you? So I said, sir, I don't need anything else. I just need that if my students, one is if you can authorize or verify or in some way authenticate my umpiring course, and I'm open to take all the feedback that you want us to incorporate. And second is, sir, whenever you do these free webinars, can my students join? So these are the only two asks, and then it went into some other discussions and all. And then they told me that they're also launching some programs and all. I said, whenever you launch, you can come on my platform. I can showcase it to all the students, and I can also showcase it to all the potential students who have inquired. So this was it, and he did it pro bono for us. And from last 1.5 years, we are using his name on our this one, and this is how it happened. Like, I mean, I just said that this much was only interaction. I have never interacted with Simon Toffel in my life. I before starting Kolan, I didn't even know who he was. But then that's how it was. So sometimes you just put honest thing and you just say that these are
Honest thing, yeah.
Sachin, who are some of your partners and who are you looking for new partners?
No, so when we started out in agriculture, we had no idea about agriculture, which is by itself, it's a huge industry and the oldest profession, kind of. So we can't put any weight that we are from there. We've studied so much. There's no weight. We come as students with farmers and also to understand what is the real problem. The one thing we were sure about after my thesis was market access was the biggest problem in agriculture. Is what from the data, maybe it's a primary data because you are skeptical about it. So, I collected it myself.
Checked every line himself.
No, it's making.
So the founder of WeWork. All his data himself.
So yeah, that's true. That's good. Great. So, but anyway, so what happened when we went was that we needed somebody who understands better than us. So we went to there is every event in universities called Agri-University called Krishi Mela. Krishi is agriculture, Mela is fest, agriculture fest. So we went there to showcase our interests and also our product, what we want to do with market. Initially, we started with market access, and then eventually because that was, we thought that's the biggest problem and nobody else is there. As we went on inside, then a lot of people are there or trying to do some funded companies as well. However, this university coming in brought more specific knowledge, which was into agriculture, which we had no idea about. So we got more credibility to go to farmers as well. Earlier, you can just sell your product as well to the farmers just as a company. There's a lot of skepticism. There's a lot of it's a lot of disappointments from different companies and governments saying to do different things to do, but eventually nothing happens. So these university people started telling about us, not we telling about ourselves. So those people started believing more, opening up, telling more real problems, especially the quality assessment problem we didn't start with. The farmers asked, oh, okay, you're connecting the buyers, so there's no leverage for us. There's no negotiation tool for us. So we thought, okay, give us some data. We started bringing some tech stack over it, like AI, image processing, simple things. Now it is also very, very simple. If somebody else is working in AI, they might be doing it. All the students who are, it's very simple tech now. AI thing, image processing are very simple tech. So we just use that, and even that simple tech is very useful for them. In a larger context, to have some confidence for them to speak about with the buyers. So that agriculture universities collaboration helped crazy, because all the channels are built in. Why should we build again? So all these things were already built, so we started working on it. So slowly, even the elevate string, which we also mentioned, so that's something magical happened after that. So we started tailing all these deep tech solutions. They were saying, what, you guys have some PhDs or researchers coming and talking some nonsense, and nobody believed in us. This is not a company, this is like a research organization. You can pitch it like that, fine, we can collaborate. So once we something, who were putting some finance, it was 23 lakhs was a fund, but once after that, NASCOM came in. So NASCOM came, when they came in, they brought in the people, the army of people who built this kind of tech. And they have the club, the tech club, and many other people who are working there. So then we found that, okay, there's somebody who can rely on, because this is a foundational science, and we are using in agri. Nobody believes that. Like, what are you talking? So these people have done it in certain extent. So they brought in more people who can speak instead of us at NASCOM and these events when recently which happened as well. So that brought in a lot of confidence as a company. Otherwise, those other NABARD and all are very credible institutes. They are trying to pull this kind of new tech into it. They have their different, like somebody from, I am Bangalore. Madam, you just mentioned about, so we always also think about what we can give back to these collaborations all the time. First thing we ask, because we believe that somebody is doing something to us because they have some objectives. I don't want to say agenda, because they have clear goals and objectives in their work as well. Even though it's a non-profit or profit, whatever their MOA and AOA, which is the constitution of those institutes are. So depending on that, they follow their constitution in the company, and we want to give back something. We always ask, see, we have clear visions. We want to position ourselves as a climate change company eventually, but agriculture is a focus area because we can impact a large amount of people. So we clearly tell them this, and if there is something which we give back, for example, NABARD wanted to know about what kind of impact that they have created. So we pull in some resources, collect that data, and give them back to them, because that's their objective, that's their bread and butter. So we have to give them back. So something like that, it's kind of an ecosystem building up together. Is what we're looking at.
Thanks. So it's like a two-way exchange. Ronak, what are you looking for in partner?
Yeah. My take on this is that when it comes to partnership, I think we should go with a very open mind. So I'll just take an example of St. John's. When we started working, we just had this agenda that let's get a meeting with their doctor. Let's just take feedback on this prototype we have developed. We did not have any agenda, anything in mind. We just wanted pure feedback that this is a doctor on field working with patients. Let's say if we develop a technology like this, what's their feedback? Will it work? Will it not work? And conversations took a really good turn from there on. The doctor immediately said that this is of immense value to us. I see lots of use cases, other conditions for patients. And yeah, that's how we started. At later stage, we are now calling them partners. But at the initial stages, we were of the opinion, how can we work together on this? We bring another level of expertise. You bring another level of domain knowledge. How can we kind of work together and make it a win-win situation for all? So yeah, I think it matters a lot to have a very open mind. Just meet people. Yeah. Second thing is meet more people in your field. Sometimes you never know how those discussions might turn out. Go to more product showcases and try to meet as much people as possible across different backgrounds. You never know that one meeting, that one showcase might turn tables for you.
Sure. Yeah. So in our case, I would say we are in that unique position where we start partnership from our clients. In some sense, our agenda is that the money that is flowing in the platform from these big companies should finally go to the workers on ground. This is the first, the priority of the entirety of Karya, that this should happen. And the quality of the data that we are giving back to these companies should be the topmost quality. I mean, apart from that, whatever work we have to do, most of the times, is just unique scenarios. And it's very difficult to it's very difficult to engage with people on the ground. I mean, especially when payments are involved. I mean, once they create data, you have to give them back now. if somebody is not able to look into their bank accounts, they would come to you tomorrow. Hey, you haven't paid me yet. You promised me this much, and then the trust goes, and the whole community would go, right? So you need to create that trust thing. And technologies are not perfect. They would not work perfectly, but then you need to convince people that you are actually good people, because there are lots of scams running. They are even afraid to just share their bank account details, because they think we'll take away their money. So we have to build that trusting. And in initial days of Karya, it was very difficult. I mean, we were able to engage with 50 to 100 people in one community. Very difficult to build the trust. But once it's there, it spread like fire. I mean, once 50 to 100 people have trusted your thing, the entire village, neighboring village would trust your thing. But this first, because we were just 3 team people, we were technologists, very difficult to engage with people from rural India, from different backgrounds, different cities. It's very difficult. One time, we had this client, which was an NGO. I don't know if you guys have heard of it. It's Mena Mahila, because they believe that women should speak. That's a Mena and then Mahila. So they are in Mumbai, and we were very fortunate to have them as a client. They wanted to. They were representing slums of Mumbai, and they wanted to make that money flow to the women. And I mean, we did it. This was a very large project, 3,000 women involved. We flew around 1.15 CR to every one of them. And with that NGO, our groundwork was very smooth. I mean, we didn't have to engage with the people directly. They were engaging with them. They were handing, we just told them the payments have been done. They were verifying that. And we discovered, what a perfect synergy this is. I mean, we can engage with NGOs who have the same objective to get the people on ground, to uplift them and everything. And today, I'm very proud to say, I mean, 95% of our collaborations are with NGOs. I mean, now, whenever we choose a district, okay, there we need to find people, or let's say, if we need data which is in Rajasthan, we first find an NGO in Rajasthan, and they give us the people. We give them, we tell them how to onboard users to the platform, give us the details, the onboarding process is smooth. They get their money, everyone is happy. And for us, it's like, it's heaven now. So this partnership is, nice, which came from client. And, we are very fortunate in the sense that whatever client we get have the same objectives. That, as I said, the data should be pure and the money should go back to the users. We brainstorm with them how to make this process even smoother. And, most of the solutions are motivated and inspired from our clients to make their process smoother. So, I mean, apart from the employees that are working in Karya, most of the ideas are from outside. Like they are birthed there. So, yeah.
Fantastic. That's a great note on which to end this part of the discussion, which is the combination of startup and NGO, of big tech and village, outside and inside tech firms and grassroots organizations. Thanks. Let's do a quick round of introduction of the audience. We've got networking after this. Just say your name and where you're from. That's all. We have no time for big things. Satya.
Yeah. Myself, Prajay. So I just got to know about this event from my friend. So we just thought of dropping.
Fantastic. Which company, what agency, what do you do?
Basically, I run a brand into men's shaving. We are selling it in states basically. So we have a couple of our patented products. Right. We are selling it out.
Great. And yeah, start.
Alyssa Billfield, I'm co-lead with Dr. Bacha on this wonderful study abroad group from the University of Washington. I'm faculty of the School of Public Health there, where I teach on food systems and also social entrepreneurship. It was so exciting to hear about your particular concept. That was really great. I do a lot of work with farmers, so I'm really excited to let the students introduce themselves to you, and thank you also for letting us be here and be present in this really wonderful atmosphere.
Yeah, your name and maybe a one sentence reaction to what you said. Only one sentence. Then you got time. Yeah.
My name is Ella, and I think I didn't expect all the variety and everything that came out of it. So that was super cool.
My name is Priya, and this was really wonderful to see like the interaction of like using technology and also social good, and like kind of going to the grassroots of what I was working. So.
My name is Manu, and I particularly enjoyed the after presentation conversation that we had when we're debating about investment plus networking, and trying to transform tech for good to tech for excellence. That was quite interesting.
My name's Ari, and I really liked how all you guys' companies are really showing how you're gonna make some societal change for the good. I think it's great.
Hi, my name is Arvind. I'm running a startup called Super Boulder. We are building the Canva for homes. I got invited by a friend, but there are so many opportunities to partner with so many people here. How I can put this app, in which you can design a home in under 5 minutes in the hands of those rural people. I'm really looking forward to that. And great inputs on how I can delay fundraising and explore the partnerships. I have investors on board, and I know personally Arjun Rao from Special Invest, and fantastic investor.
Many investors will tell you, get your unit economics right, then come and talk to me.
Yeah.
So nobody's forcing you to invest with them.
Yes.
They're saying, what's your investment ready? Then we come. Yeah. But yeah, go.
Hi, I'm Sonali, and I just really liked how tech can just go into so many different categories. Like it is not limited to any.
Yeah, your generation can drive it to the next level. So yes, yeah.
Myself Sanjay. So I'm currently in my biotech engineering. So I'm doing my research in skin cancer and the products. So this was really an eye-opening event to become knowledgeable.
Yes.
My name is Oliver. I particularly like the Cloller organization. I find it really interesting how sort of taking this sector of society that's accessible to a lot of people like sports and using it as a way to broaden for opportunities of students.
Hello, everyone. My name is Charles, and I very much so enjoy the diversity of the specializations and the problem identification, some of which you identify problems in which I never knew existed. So it was a very amazing to watch.
Hi, I'm Roop here from IDFC First Bank. So I represent the bank where I'm from the startup banking team. So I manage this particular area of the startups. And we also have the startup banking products and services. And same time, as you are talking about the collaboration and bonding, we also have something called Beyond Banking program, where founders can come and put in their product and services in our platform, where we can able to give them the scale to 1 million current account customers of our book, where they can get a lot of offerings. Similarly, the people who are banking with us also, they can take these offers and all. So these are from our side.
They're a future sponsor of MXR.
Hi guys, I'm Kone. I work at NSR. I'm Bangalore. I'm a part of the sustainability incubation program, and it's one conversation that keeps happening: collaboration, network, partnerships, how we can actually impact the ecosystem. It was great to hear those conversations.
Actually, she's a superb networker. It's because of her that Chitam is here today. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. This.
Thank you for having me here, Mother. My name is Ren, and they say that ideas, money, and talent are the three things that work. So I represent the third leg, and I go by the title of Leadership Search Consultant, and I work with a company called Talentizer. We have been doing leadership search for the last 8 years and also mergers and acquisitions. So thank you for having me here. I'm really happy to network with everyone.
Thanks. Yeah.
Hi, my name is Rishabh. I work with different philanthropies, majorly on focusing on how to build a better data ecosystem to drive climate action on ground. Previously, I used to run a large nonprofit building an alternative to college for the underserved. I've just moved to Bangalore, so a friend told me I decided to drop by. And
you've come to the right place. Yeah.
Welcome.
Yeah.
My name is Eric. I'm still trying to make sense of a couple points made here. One of which is
don't worry.
Okay, I'm glad to hear it. One of which is Akar's points on we need to be less focused on data. I'm trying to think, like maybe I wish data was better defined, because half the time I'm thinking, what does that really mean?
It's a good question.
Yeah.
Hi, I'm Nandini. one of the founder of SkyDoc. SkyDoc is what we do is we build a digital twin of a human body for better prognosis and diagnosis. Basically, a unified health data platform.
And she pitched about 2-3 months back, right?
Right.
Yeah. Thanks. Yeah.
Hi, my name is Willow Hoynes. I'm a student of environmental engineering and geology at University of Washington. And I guess after seeing all your presentations and decks, I'm most curious to see the catalysts and programs and the social and financial sustainability that you hope to set up and expand for your organizations here.
Thanks. Hi, I'm Prabhu. I'm co-founder of BharatPi. So we are a IoT hardware manufacturing company. I just working. Thanks.
And here's the demo of the first Indian Raspberry Pi product.
Yeah, it's an alternative to Arduino and Raspberry Pi.
Really?
Yeah.
Can I take?
Launched today.
Can I take few hundred?
Launched
Can I
today.
take few hundred?
So he's got village centers all over India in 600 villages, etc.
I'm not kidding. I'm serious.
So this is
Your first order will come today. Yeah, go on.
Thank you so much. So we are actually a manufacturing heavy company. So today the topic came about partnerships and how do we collaborate things. Because we have to manufacture, I mean, we have to design first and then we manufacture. So we had so many partnerships across. Sometimes, I mean, we talked about being true and genuine and all that, but actually, to be frank, we sold the vision. We did not have the product. So we said all of our partners, they are going to hit a sale of 2,000 boards per day. Are you on board or not? They said free design, 60-day credit, you get free components. They assembled, they manufacture it. Even if I need one board, they did that. Country head of Simcon visited our office and he said, at what price point do you need us to manufacture the chip so that you can sell more boards? So I think when people see the value, I think partnerships will organically build, and all of our partners have been actually investors, because some have invested time, some have invested credits, some people gave it for free. Arrow Electronics, they did a free PR, global PR for us, because we just source components from them. And so great opportunity to meet you all in the fantastic ecosystem. And please let us know. It's been just 2 months we have launched this board. The price ranges from just 850 rupees per board to 4,000 rupees per board. Anyone will be able to build their IoT use cases. So we are positioned to enable 1 billion smart devices in India, at least to take them onto the internet. It could be a smart chair, table, light, bulb, appliances. We are working with Eureka folks, how our board can integrate into their entire set of appliances so that they can make them smart enough. They can do all the predictive maintenance and all that. And best part, it will enable students, including school, engineering, and everyone, make it affordable so that they can use that and build smart solutions on it. Thank you.
Thanks. Are you ready to come for another session in future and pitch to around? Please. Very good. Thanks. Yeah. Yeah.
Hi, I'm Pradeep Yuvraj. Someone was saying someone came from far away from Koramangala. I come from farther away from Coimbatore, a city that's like 350 kilometers from here, and I'm here thanks to my mentees, Komla and Kushalu, who run a company called Chip Injury. I'm a business storyteller. I run this company called Presentum, and we work with startups from across the world, including 2 in Antarctica as well, helping them tell their stories to the world. And a lot of interesting conversations that I take back. And today might be an inflection point because for all practical purposes, today is the day we start our business in Bangalore. We've been in existence for 14 years, but we've never had a presence in any other city than Coimbatore. So thank you for having me here, and thank you to Komla and Kedam as well. And keep telling stories. The world needs a lot of them. And if I can have 30 seconds.
Maybe the networking session?
Yeah, we'll do that. Sure. Thank you.
Yes.
Hi, everybody. My name is Navina. I'm from KB Associates. We are a full-service legal firm, and you can reach us on any legal aspects.
IP and that kind of stuff?
Yes.
Fantastic. Great.
Hello, everyone. I want to know about this event from a doctor. A doctor has left us doctor practicing. He has come into a startup ecosystem. I got a forward from him. I'm an architect. I'm into an urban space and urban planning.
Yes.
So, yeah. So,
I'm an architect and urban planner too.
since 2018, I was into this business. My father was a contractor.
Yes.
So he's a government contractor. He started in 1992. So that's where COVID hit. And he taught me like we have to do a business collaboration. So I run a 3 business collaboration, which is happening good. So the place I wanted to be here is we supply the electronic desktops to the Karnataka government. That is Kionix. That is this building. So this head office is in the Shantinagar. So we do a pretty good margin. We pull up with the investors also. So there I've collaborated. And also another thing, another business is with the medical business. We have opened a bunch of medical stores. So that's how it is. I'm looking for the even more business collaborations where I can pull up the money and do
Sure,
good.
sure. We'll connect after. One problem we've had today is we haven't had enough seats in this room because there was so much demand for this event. So we've had actually a full room of people outside also listening. I want to ask them to say just hello and who you are and what you do. And yourself. Oh, sorry.
Always take a small room, more people.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but yeah, start, yes.
Okay, hello everyone. This is Tushar. I run a career tech company called Sapiens. We used to train college students to become more intern worthy, startup ready, place them into growing startup like yours. But we recently saw that more than 90% of students who enter our placement cell, we have to reject them because they're not that intern worthy. So we are now launching a new program called Sapiens IPL, an internship preparatory lab, where we give them whatever happens in a startup or a corporate, we convert that into a simulation program, best internship experience program, so that they can finish their first internship with us and then again be ready to work with you. So that's what we do to be the first best placement that they can. Thank you.
You will also pitch in the next EdTech event we do. Thank you. Yeah. And sorry for not having enough space here, but let the next person come in and speak. Yeah.
Everyone, my name is Avi. I was having balcony seat there.
Yeah, yes.
My name is Avi. I'm building a company called Neutral.io. We are a climate technology company, specifically automating to carbon accounting and sustainability report.
Right.
Early stage, working with a couple of companies. Mainly, we are working on a B2B SaaS.
I'll thank you to our investor. Yes, next. Who's want to come and say hi? Yes, yeah, hey, come on.
I am myself Mohit. I'm basically heading the technical team of Cloudways. Cloudways is a Japanese organization. We are Google Cloud partner and we provide all the services on Google Cloud. We have all the 12 specialization that Google provides, and apart from that, we have our own services that we can bundle along with Google, like modernization services, migration services. So the segment that is assigned to us is SMB and startups, and we are helping startups and SMBs to build their and also to optimize their costs on cloud or building their application, all kind of services that are there, end-to-end services we provide.
Another future sponsor of MXR. Thank you. Yes. And another super networker, ma'am, you come. Yeah. Another ace networker. Yeah.
Nice to meet you. Sir.
Thank you.
So I'm from IDFC First Bank. So I work with the startup ecosystem, and I used to meet Madan sir in a lot of events. So
and you always bring more people. That's fantastic. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah. And last but not least.
Thank you very much, Madanji. My name is Santosh Talagatti, and I am a government consultant for e-governance implementation. And I have worked on very large scale social impact, the education, and to health and police, especially a lot of innovations I have done. And I had worked with Dr. Kalam sir, and later he inspired me to start something for the socio-economic development. And I created global classrooms, and that connected 10,000 rural schools. And then I created the first smart village in 2011, and then that became a role model in 2020. And so I have worked with farmers, especially in the rural sectors, and how they can be given the opportunity from the urban smart minds like you all. So that was my innovation. So now, right now, I'm engaged in AI innovations in public sector.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
My colleague Simon. Hi guys. It's been a minute to come also.
I mean, you can say your name and this.
Okay, so we happen to be in a very interesting building, by the way. This is a KDEM's building. KDEM is the Karnataka Digital Economy Mission. It's one of the nerve centers of the Karnataka state government to build digital excellence in the state. And all these clusters are emerging in Hubli, Dharwad, Mysore, etc. for fintech, agri-tech, toys, all kinds of stuff in Karnataka. So the initiative is called Beyond Bengaluru. So Bengaluru is becoming, as you've seen, saturated, polluted, all that stuff. And we want to promote entrepreneurship in other parts of the states also. That's a big part of the initiative. And Anand Vote of Thanks is our biggest supporter, partner, endorser, etc. Kevin, over to you. Tell us what KDEM and what they're planning to do and why everyone should come to KDEM more often and work with you guys.
Before that, can I have a shout out of how the event was today?
So to begin with, KDM is Karnataka Digital Economy Mission. We're a government of Karnataka initiative working with the ITBT department of government of Karnataka. But we're a not-for-profit organization. So KDM has, we are working in the space of digital economy where our sole mission is to make Karnataka the highest contributor of India's GDP, where our target is to make Karnataka contribute 30% of India's overall digital economy GDP by 2025. So that's our mission, that's our company. And thank you. I will tell you, we have achieved so many milestones, beginning with ESDM exports. Let me come to details in a bit. So KDM has 5 focus areas. ESDM is one, which is electronic systems design and manufacturing. We facilitate with all your manufacturing, assembly, and market setup, co-working spaces, and talent, of course. Moving on, then we promote software services and products, including global capability centers as well. So where we invite all these back office operations in Karnataka. And another vertical is innovation and startups. That's where you all come in. So to give you 3 simple pointers for startups, we have access. We give you access to capital. We give you access to network, and we give you access to market. How? It's through these events. And thanks to Big Sir World, who's been more than a facilitator, more than a partner to us to facilitate and boost startup ecosystem together through mixer events, through investor events, and helping us achieve the mission as well. And to support all these 3 verticals, we have 2 horizontals. One is, of course, you might all would have guessed right now, which is talent. So we boost Karnataka's talent ecosystem, train them, skill them, upskill them, and place them in companies. And our flagship horizontal is beyond Bengaluru, as Madanji mentioned. You could see that Karnataka map, a small one. So we have identified clusters, and we are trying to promote the core business and the core ecosystem over there, and we're trying to maximize it. Currently, we're running 3 emerging clusters. One is Mysuru cluster, which is Mysuru and places around Mysuru. We're trying to promote Mysuru as the ESDM and cybersecurity hub of India. And Mangaluru, we have FinTech and AVGC. AVGC is basically gaming, comics, and animation. And Hubli Belgaum Dharwad, you can see that sticker behind that. We're trying to make HBD cluster as EV and drone manufacturing, as well as agri-tech altogether. So that's what we're currently working on a larger scale. Yeah.
So connect to him for anything. Thank you. So thank you all for coming here. Thanks once again to Kevin and the whole team for hosting us. The pitch decks of some of the startups will be online. So there's a whole bunch of investors out there who wants to hear about you guys, business partnerships, ecosystem developers, and so on. So we'll publish some of them online as the event finishes. We now have coffee, tea, snacks, networking outside, and a group photo there. And one more thing I forgot. Yes.
Yeah. Just sorry to mention. At this point, as we've all gathered together, I just want to make a few statements as well. What Karnataka has achieved. I'm more than proud to say that Karnataka was the first state to bring a policy called startup policy. And we have ESDM policy. We are trying to bring out cybersecurity policy. And of course, we are trying to set up a hub for circular economy as well. And we have AVGC policy. All the startups that you're thinking, we have certain policies. So please get back to us to get policy perks and benefits as well. We are the facilitators, and we are more than happy to help you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Yeah, before we break, I just wanted to call out, there are many startups here. Anybody, need data distribution on scale, Kara is a platform. So.
Thanks. Thanks, everyone. Let's have a photo outside and then some coffee, tea, snacks.
Hi there, how are you? 1 second. I'll call you back later.
I heard your voice from there. Okay, I like.